From start to finish, all 4 games decided by just 1 run. Canberra winning the series 3-1.
So Maestri working against Michael Geddes for his first plate appearance. Geddes hitting 305 on the season. A 2-1 count at the moment. It's been probably his big calling card for the Adelaide bite has been the power. 7 home runs over the course of this ABL season. It's a ground ball to shortstop as in Gope with the throw over, as that will be in time on what was probably a closer play than a lot of people expected.
The book on Ngope is his fielding is elite. It's Major League Baseball level. Hitting is where he struggled at his time in the majors and has certainly done a lot with that. And we got a wonderful example of his glove work right there.
Well, you know, Scott last series saying speed doesn't slump, defense is on a similar keel. And that's why you see a lot of these players who just have that elite defense. They get a few different chances.
Mikey Chen has been a valuable mid-season addition, 12 games, averaging 3.33 on base 429. Has been played mainly as a DH in his return to the bite for a second season.
He did get a little bit of play in left field and has had some definite adventures on the base paths. I think he's been one of the underrated additions for the bite the past couple of seasons. As the fly ball out towards centre field, Campbell just ranging over towards left and will take it for the second out.
Well, the only other game on at the moment is in Geelong Korea, and the great news is Geelong Korea have scored. We're at the bottom of the 6th. It's Geelong Korea 2, Brisbane 15.
Will now be Steph Welsh with the bases clear, 2 out. Bite still searching for their first base runner. For Welsh, batting under 200, 192 on this season, but on base percentage 322.
Yes, 24 hits, 20 walks, leads the bite in walks. He's one of 4 bite players, along with Edwards, Whitefield, Geddes, to have played every game for Adelaide this season.
Well, talking about Ngope and his defence, of course, for the bite. That's one of Steph Welsh's calling cards at the hot corner. 2-1 and make it 3-1. So that pitch is going to miss outside.
So hitters count for a rare time tonight.
Welsh has been good at getting on base. Just needs to find one more pitch as he golfs that into right field. As it looks like Brennan will get it after sliding on the knees. And that will retire the side.
It doesn't matter how ugly it looks, it is an out. And we will go to the 3rd shortly. You are watching Bite Live.
Hi everyone and welcome to the Crow Show, brought to you by Foodland.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Footy Plus.
There you have it, the lights are on, slightly overcast conditions, but it's so much cooler, so much better to watch. Watching Bite Live, Game 1 between the Sydney Blue Sox and the Adelaide Bite. You can see it, whole lot of donuts, no runs, no hits, no errors to both sides. 1 walk given up by Solbeck. The sole man on base was Rogers.
Yeah, it will be Zach Shepherd, Max Brennan, then lineup will turn back over to Trent D'Antonio. So 8-9-1 due up for the Sydney Blue Sox. And Marcus Solbach been pitching like he has pretty much all season. And doing a good job throwing some strikes. As we look at the pitch count for both these two pitchers heading into the third inning. With Maestri at 24, with 13 for strikes, and Solbach at 35, 24 of them for strikes.
Big nights coming up for the Bite to see out the season. We're going to Strike Out Cancer tomorrow night, big fundraising night, and then we've got the T-Ball kids to see us out on Saturday. If you're in vicinity, your last chance to see some live Brute Australian Baseball League action down here at West Beach Park. So come on down. And if you're based in Sydney, well, we've got the feed tonight and the stream same time on Bite Live tomorrow night as well.
It's a 2-0 count here for Shepherd. This has been also getting on base at a good clip for the Sydney Blue Sox. Swinging through.
We have got all-stars watching us. We've got, I don't know which is the bigger all-star. Tuatara manager Stephen Mintz is watching. G'day, Stephen. Hope you, how's your key accent going these days? And Matt Moo Chandler, which I assume otherwise known as Chuckles, from the ABL Hot Corner. So, this is the place to be on a Thursday night watching Bite Live.
Well, welcome, lads. 3-1 count to Shepherd, make it a 4-1 count as Solbach, second walk.
Well, Steve Mintz, it's great you're watching because you are part of what is coming up next. Could not have timed this any better. Next couple of nights, those that have followed our broadcast for a few years know that I usually bug Fraser with a trivia question from left field. Well, let's spread the load a little bit. Stay tuned for that coming up in an hour or two.
Yeah, I'm looking in left field. I can't see anything yet.
It's coming.
Oh, I'm sure it is. Max Brennan stepping in. First pitch by Solbach. Fastball for a strike. So Sydney with a slight advantage, at least in relation to base runners. But both teams still searching for their first hit. Slicing ball into right field. The will go foul.
Right into the Bite dugout. Or the Yak Bar, I'm not quite sure down there. One of the new features here at the ballpark, the Yak Bar, on the other side of the Shark Tank.
Who knows, if things go bad enough, they could turn into the same thing.
That's where you'll probably find me by late Saturday night, I reckon, the Yak Bar.
So 0-2 count. Solbach puts a little bit more heat behind it, 92 miles an hour.
Luke Jemisin's just checked in, wants the line-up. We'll work around it, Luke. Give us a couple of innings to do that. Probably the big out for the Bite, Mikey Reynolds not playing. Mitch Boddy, one of the development players in at second. Curtis Mead going to short there. They're probably major changes.
It's 1-2 and Solbach just trying to throw something by, but Brennan doing a good job laying off.
Well, Brennan was the hero. 2 games, 1 from 1 last week. But what a one it was. An RBI to win a close one Saturday night. And to take the series lead against the Tuatara, which they closed out on Sunday. So he's averaging 200. Just the 25 at-bats over 18 games. Getting a start here.
Still on 2 strikes, a line ball past Lightbody's glove into centre field. Shepherd will move up to second, and there is the first hit for the Sydney Blue Sox.
And Max Brennan's on I think he's on a 2-game hitting streak.
Well, he's got 2 important hits here. Blue Sox behind him, just need to drive him in.
Sure enough, you could guarantee as soon as we started threatening the trivia quiz, the bases start loading up and the inning starts to extend a bit. Back to the top of the order. Trent D'Antonio, what a veteran, 33-year-old, 9th year, one of the originals, the lefty from Wollongong.
4-3 ground out last time round.
Big Cam said there goes the no-hitter. Well, for one, Cam, for one team.
For one. Sometimes it can be a bit of a suppose let's say a good omen, because there's a lot of pressure on either a perfect game or a no-hitter. So, I mean, if you give up the hit, you're not necessarily worried about it now. You're more focused on maintaining the shutout.
Well, the issue is there's a runner in scoring position, 2 men on, and there's no one out. That's the issue for Solbach right at the moment.
Yeah, double play would relieve a lot of that pressure. Ball that will go foul. And that's going to be the question. Solbach going second, third time through, which we likely expect, barring any sort of major turnaround. But making those adjustments going to be important for both the two teams.
So D'Antonio just taking some time out of the box here. Just got collected by that one a little bit. Might add it was by his own handiwork. Yeah, that does got to hurt. But players seem impervious to getting knocked around by the baseball most times.
Yeah, that or they just don't show it. D'Antonio gets the bunt down. It's a good one. Welsh will go to first. Bang, bang play. Will be out. D'Antonio saying he got there in time.
Well, with none out, that does the job, doesn't it?
It does do the job. So now for the Sydney Blue Sox, runners at second and third, 1 out, and Jacob Eunice coming up for his second plate appearance.
And look, you never want to have an out, especially if you're the money ball faithful, but having a free first base also takes the force out scenario as well.
Well, also allows Solbach, he does have the base open, which would then bring the double play back into consideration. So it is a bit of a pick your poison moment. He did strike out Eunice last time round. Just puts the microscope on Marcus Solbach at the moment.
Does. His first jam of the night. It's very unlike Marcus Solbach because he wasn't pitching at night. It was the first game on a Saturday against the Melbourne Aces.
And a hard hit by Jacob Eunice out towards left field. The wind's going to knock it down a bit. Runner is not going to tag up from third. Just not quite deep enough. So the Adelaide Bite get an important second out here.
Yep. Cam makes the important point from the Blue Sox perspective. A hit to the outfield could well score 2. But that fly out, not quite deep enough. Schumpert had it covered and has the arm to match, meaning that the sacrifice is out of play. But we come to the hit master of the ABL from the Netherlands, 30-year-old Dwayne Kemp. Wouldn't he like to mark off a 50th hit for the season with a 2 RBI to go with it?
Well, he's in a good position right now. First pitch by Solbach. Goes with the fastball again.
And we're getting a little bit of an education on the Facebook feed. The bang bang plays. I'll share with you after this pitch. Client Rabby now. Adam Liner, thank you for that. With the bang bang plays, the rule states that the runner must beat the ball. Arriving at the same time is out.
Yeah, that's pretty much the way the umpires go, and I don't blame him for it. But of course, if you're a base runner, you want that 100% of the time. One count at the moment.
As we're into the 7th in Geelong, a little more Bandits carnage. They're now 19, Geelong 2.
Just a little bit one-sided. The 1-1 count for Kemp. Important moment here for the Blue Sox early in this game. Slicing ball out to right. Geddes will range on it and take it in the glove for the 3rd out. So the Bite faithful take a collective exhale as we're still tied 0-0 heading into the 4th.
Alrighty, folks, this is Bite Live, and for the Bite fans out there, especially the long-time Bite fans, here's a question coming up for you right now. Bite trivia thanks to SA Power Networks. Which of Adelaide Bite's previous managers had the highest winning percentage in that role? Was it A, current Blue Sox manager Tony Harris? Option B, Brooke Knight? Or option C, current Spectator Steve Mintz? Let us know on the feed. The answer is there, A, B or C. And we will reveal the answer shortly. And I will confess, Fraser, I did not know I suspected the answer, but I did not know the answer until I checked it.
Well, I have an inkling.
Which Adelaide Bite previous manager, because Tank Adamson is now the fourth, Tony Harris, Brooke Knight, Steve Mintz, all of them took the Bite into playoffs. I think if I've got it right, all of them took them to ABLCS, I think. Which has the best winning record? So we've got, yep, we'll keep an eye on it. So far, C seems popular. We've got 5 for Steve Mintz. You got a fan club, Steve. Speaking of the Auckland Tuatara, of course, they will play their first game tomorrow. They are in Melbourne, and that will be the end of their Frontier Greys road trip, unlike any ever seen in the ABL.
Well, the good thing for Steve Mintz is he will be the trivia question for who has the highest winning percentage of the Auckland Tuatara.
Well, that's true. For Tuatara Live.
Yep, so even if he's not necessarily the trivia answer in this case, he can still claim it. As it will now be Curtis Mead stepping in the first 2 pitches, a ball and a strike respectively.
I'm beginning to get... I have to go and recheck my answer in a second.
They're confident.
All right, we're at the bottom of the third. No scorers yet. Solback seeing off the threat from the Blue Sox. And left on base, wasn't that a great stat last weekend?
It was.
But something I discovered during the week. Last week, left on base, Adelaide left 36 and lost the series zip 4. Sydney left 34 on base and won the series 3-1.
Well, Mead on the 1-2 goes down. Another strikeout here, and that will be the second for the Sydney Blue Sox tonight. So it'll be Maestri who gets the strikeout. Now Jordan McArdle, who will be stepping up, and Mitch Lightbody, 7, 8, 9.
So that's Maestri. How are we doing the counting? Maestri 75, Solback on 73.
Maestri been looking good so far against McArdle, who did have a home run last series.
Well, if you're looking for something of a bright light to come from Melbourne for Bite fans last week, it was the hitting form of Jordan McArdle. He was 4 from 9, which averages 444, 2 RBIs. So back into some form at the latter stage of the season, which I guess he'll take into his time heading back to Arizona.
Yeah, over the course of the season, of course. Been a 161 hitter. The 290 slugging, so while it will boost his stats a little bit, and of course a positive to take into it, considering his previous stat line over the course of the past couple of ABL seasons, has definitely been one that he would like to change, as he does strike out here.
15 walks, 15 hits, and now 35 strikes. And Fraser, Curtis Mead struck out. Jordan McArdle struck out. What happens if Mitch Lightbody strikes out?
If Mitch Lightbody strikes out, then we will get something that you have coined very nicely, Phil.
Yeah, we had a task earlier in the season. What happens if someone strikes out the side inning? Because that's too long. Needs to be a word. We've come up with the word. It's Kenning, K-inning. And right now, Maestri is on 1.
Well, just when you say that, commentators Kirsten and Gope will throw it over to first.
Mitch Lightbody, the Kenning killer, but he's out. That'll do it for the Blue Sox. Yeah, and thanks to SA Power Networks, we've got ourselves a package about the Adelaide Bite imports this season.
Adelaide
Adelaide's amazing. Adelaide's awesome. The city's nice. The team's nice. Everybody treats us the way we want to be treated, and whoever wants to come should definitely come and see what it's like.
Being 5 minutes away from the beach, walking distance, was pretty easy for me.
The city, the fans, the support from the Crows, you know, their facilities is the best that any team has in the league. So having that is something for me, especially. Getting ready for when I go back to America is a big thing.
The fact that we can work out in a major league facility or big league facility in the highest class in all of Australia is pretty remarkable. And we don't have to go to a little local gym. We're secluded. We can just be ourselves and do whatever we need to do.
Yeah, if I have a chance, I will go back because here I'm so nice, I feel.
I think I'm going to be a recruiting coach for the Bite, so I'll go to the States, get everybody back over here.
And welcome back to West Beach Parks, and special thank you to ASA Power Networks for putting that package together. Of course, we've spoken a lot about the ABL season, of course, the homegrown talent, but imports play an important part in the ABL, and of course they have been very impactful so far for not just the Bite, but also for the Blue Sox this season.
Indeed they have been. We head to the fourth, not a run on the board. The Blue Sox, though, have got one hit, but left two stranded. Coming up will be Ngope, Rogers and Murphy. I should say the veteran part of the lineup for the Sydney Blue Sox. The Blue Sox, relative to others in the ABL, fairly young. You've got D'Antonio 33, Kemp 30, Rogers 30, Murphy 30 and Michael Campbell 32. So it is an experienced batting lineup. As Ngope comes to the plate, the former major leaguer from Pittsburgh, Toronto, and he hopes to be a major leaguer with the Philadelphia Phillies.
Well, they're loading up on talent at the moment, the Philadelphia Phillies.
They've got half of Australian baseball on this, quite in different places. Solback delivers a first pitch ball.
Well, at the moment, pitch count for both Solback with that pitch will be his now 55th, and for Maestri at 35.
So he tried to find the outside corner but missed. No score in this contest. Finds the strike zone on that occasion, 2-1. Ngope last week played 4 games, 4 from 15, 4 RBI. They were all in the Sunday game to help the Blue Sox clinch the win and the playoff berth. And he gets himself another hit. And that is his 41st in Australia, and will keep that average well into the 300s.
Well, Gift Ngope getting one just past the glove of Steph Welsh. And we've seen Welsh, he's done a few dives over the course of the season, but that one just too much mustard on it. And that gives Sydney, again, another important base runner to start the inning.
Jason Rogers, the 30-year-old from Georgia. As mentioned, major leaguer, Pittsburgh, Milwaukee Brewers. 3 seasons there. And then spent some time with the Hanshin Tigers in Japan. And once they heard that his nickname, one of his nicknames was the Panda, well, they were all over him.
Why wouldn't you be?
I love their pandas in Japan. I've actually went and saw some when I was there. Ueno Zoo has some. Very, very popular. As was Rogers, who's now gone from being a cult favourite in Japan to having to deal with these darn flies down under. They're still giving him some grief. Needs the Aussie, well, I can't say the Aussie deodorant because we're sponsored by Brute, but often called the Aussie deodorant is a bit of Airguard or mosquito repellent. Maybe there's a marketing opportunity there for Brute. New range.
Just have to put some corks on his helmet.
That's it. Yes.
They seem to like him.
Big Cam says, look at the size of the thighs. He could be a linebacker. Yes. Yes, indeedy. Especially down under. Linebacker's not that big down here. Walked his first time around. 1-1 in the count. 1 on. Blue Sox getting some men on early. Making Solback's last outing not an easy one so far, but no runs on the scoreboard. Doesn't matter what you do if you don't get runs on the scoreboard.
Yeah, it really comes down to that bend but don't break attitude so far. Solback. Been letting some base runners on. Rogers, of course, would love to just dump one over the fence and give the Blue Sox a 2-0 lead. Two-strike approach, hit right back up the middle. Infielders not really even going to take a cursory glance at it. They know that's into the outfield for a single. And the Blue Sox with another base runner on.
Well, they had 2 on with 1 out. Now they've got, they had 2 on with none out last time, 2 out with none out again. See if they learnt their lessons. Jack Murphy, who struck out last time round. In fact, he was Solbach's last strikeout victim. The last 9 have either walked, hit, or flew out. With 1 ground out as well. Murphy with 14 RBIs has a chance to add to that here this season. Looks at that one sail past. First pitch strike.
Within Gope, 6 stolen bases on the season. 1 caught stealing. Wouldn't expect him to see jumps. We've seen Reynolds do it over the course of the season, not afraid to steal 3rd, but I don't think we're going to see that from the Sydney Blue Sox here.
No, although as you mentioned, Ngope has a good record, 6 from 7 this season. I guess you never want to be that first out when you're on a roll.
No, never make the first or final out at 3rd. And there is the strikeout. 2nd for Murphy.
4th for Solbach. Strikeout 74. Keep on switching between the 2 at the moment. 74 and 74 v 76 for Maestri. Poor Steve Kent. Well, he's got himself a bit of an issue, I think. Because if he started and if he's pitched 2 innings and we've got a conference on the hill, and that'll be it. That will be it. Marcus Solbach's time with the bite is ending right now in the 4th. Wow.
Well, potentially on a pitch count. Sitting at 64 pitches at the moment and getting hugs and high fives from his teammates.
We've just got to take the moment in there. Helgart's in shock in Germany. They've pulled Marcus out early and we're not that far away. So we go to the Japanese lefty, 24-year-old Yoshihiro Tamura comes into the lineup. 7 games, ERA of 1.59, which is the lowest outside of Solbach for the bite. Of course, hasn't played enough to qualify in any of the leadership stats. But I'm in shock. Marcus Solbach.
Yeah, well, again, we coming into this didn't hear any discussion about what would be happening with Marcus Solbach, but of course we figured in with, of course, the Dodgers situation playing in, and see a bit of a discussion now for the infield. But we always thought there was going to be some sort of pitch count on him, but the fact that he's being taken out now, conservative approach, and now Tamura going to have to pick up the slack.
Interesting to see the very friendly chat. We've got an umpire coming in to have a chat about that now. All very friendly at this time of year. I guess it's, especially considering what we saw in Melbourne last week. But I think 4 ejections or 5 ejections in pretty quick succession. We see the front hill crew enjoying the view. You can just see some of the lights of the airport out the back there.
So final line on Marcus Solbach for the game.
Yep.
Is 3 1/3, 3 hits, no earned runs at the moment, with 2 walks and 4 strikeouts. So that lowers his ERA to 1.10.
So he didn't give up the ERA. Yeah.
Not yet.
But no, well, it's okay. It's not the final line then, is it? Because
not the final line, but at least for right now, of course, the 2 base runners on could potentially change that.
Yeah.
But ultimately, would make him at 65 1/3. So 5-3 record, a 1.10 ERA over the course of a season, over 65 1/3 innings.
Yeah. Oh, it's a mighty effort. It's right up there with what Steve Kent's done. Shoto Imanaga's been lights out. And the Blue Sox pitchers aren't that behind. Maybe they are in the ERA, but some of the other stats have been sensation as well. Maybe with the Blue Sox, it's more the consistency that they've had. So Michael Campbell, can he do something here with 1 out and 2 on and put something on the scoreboard? How many pitchers get the hook after striking out someone in the 4th? Yeah.
So I just think pitch count coming into it, potentially you don't want him to have to, or you don't have to pull a pitcher in the middle of an at-bat, so be conservative. And
yep. He didn't look animated, didn't look shocked. The look on our face is probably a little different.
It's a 1-1 count for Campbell, and as you mentioned, a good opportunity here for the Blue Sox.
And just the various things you have at the end of a season. Right now, there is a bit of a battle within. There's infighting within the Blue Sox. There's a battle for their #1 hitter. Coming into, we've got Ngope 345, Kemp and Campbell averaging between 342 and 345 for the best average in the Blue Sox this year. I'm not sure if you receive anything for that, a hitter's award or something. I guess it's a club-by-club thing. But it's always good on a resume. Led the Blue Sox in hitting for the season.
Currently Campbell 3-1 count. Let's see what he can do.
He can load him up. And so for Tamura, who's one of our Honda pitchers, we had 2 for the first half of the season, and we've got 2 for the second half. Works for Honda, pitches in the Industrial League, and his first at-bat loads them up. And now he has got nowhere to put Zach Shepard, who walked at his first at-bat.
Well, for tomorrow, 7 games, 1.59 ERA over 5 2/3 innings. Only giving up the 1 earned run and the 1 walk, 8 strikeouts.
He's doubled the. He's doubled. Yeah.
Yeah, make it 2.
It's funny how great pitching stats can be absolutely blown out of the water in a very short space of time.
Yeah, especially relief stats.
So Zach Shepard, we've talked about a lot of ex-major leaguers and so forth. Well, he's in the Detroit Tigers system right now. He's on a 3-game hitting streak, 4 for 12 last week. There are some stats you'd love to lead, some maybe not. He does lead the ABL in strikeouts, but that with 56, but does have 29 hits and 18 walks. And right now, we've got all the ones. Or have we? We've got conflicting scores. We'll take our feed, which says it's 2 strikes. Norton 2 count. Of course, if you worry about making a change in the 4 stretches of bullpen in your first game, they probably have that opportunity with the development players. Chance for a double play, and there it is. So for the second time, the Blue Sox get men and score.